So you make a list of what they need to do on the job, and you let them do it independently?
The goal is, that's the major list. Now you're getting to what's the skill sets that are required, okay? They need to know what to start running, okay? Taking care of the company. From that point on, then you're making a list of, okay, what are the systems that are required for them to learn to get going as soon as possible once they're in, or maybe you already have a staff, but you have to train them on a new system.
Okay.
But then that leads to, okay, the last part of it, how are you going to deliver the training? Who's going to, most important, who's going to be the one training?
And so how do you inspire them and manage to get them all in, as they would say?
This, I would say, is my specialty because it's very important. I've seen a while back a gentleman, a self-made millionaire, told me his secret. He was homeless once. He said he didn't have money and he was homeless, and then he became a self-made billionaire. I said, what's the secret to your sauce? He said, hold them accountable. And when you hold them accountable, you're training them basically in a skill set that a lot of people don't realize exists. They just think, well, they just give them a job, tell them to do, and they'll do it. No, you have to be able to have them hold themselves accountable, hold their colleagues accountable, their customers or clients accountable, as well as you. And that's what we'll get to. Then communication, vital, he said. You gotta have communication. It could be daily, it could be weekly, monthly, but that is like the quintessential part of getting them inspired, but people don't realize that they take it for granted. Especially entrepreneurs, they have this attitude, can't they just read my mind? And it's like, no, they can't. You actually have to talk to them.
Yeah.
Maybe someday in the future, but right now. So the communication is just paramount. And then we take it for granted. I've done a lot of corporate events and corporate departments and training their department heads, the directors, the managers, and hey, you have to make them feel important.
Right.
It's like, what? Feel important? They got their job. What's more important than that? No, you have to make them feel that not just by you, but by the clients, by their colleagues, that they matter, that they're valuable. And once you get to that level, they'll do things you couldn't imagine doing. So I had a good example. I had a client who they had one staff member that just was not functioning, and they were thinking of getting rid of him. So I worked with this individual, and at some point they started believing that the company is everything. Before, they were looking at the clock, waiting. And then at some point, they were staying overtime, clocking out and still doing more work, coming in early, doing work and not clocking in, and then doing their regular job. The client at the time told me, I couldn't afford this. And I could never afford these kind of people. So I said, those are the kind of people you want to buy. Those are the kind of people you want to hire. Those are the kind of people you want serving your company. So then you're making them feel important. Also, you want to inspire them to be creative and innovative. So they're proactive. They can work without necessarily coming to you with the problem. They figured the problem. They see the problem. Let's get them to figure out the solution to it before they come to the big guys, their bosses. And then, of course, the last part of that is always goes back to the owner of the company, making them leaders that inspire, leaders that the employees are not afraid to come to, especially when there's a problem. And so much income has been lost because of all those factors. And once you got them policing themselves, leading themselves, trusting and coming to you, they'll do things that you cannot pay them to do.
Yeah, I've had a few bosses like that where I would actually go out and do the extra, and I've had bosses that just, I want to punch the clock for. You can tell there's a difference between the two.
And we've had one of our clients, he mastered the art of the 1-minute manager. And he says, I'm jealous, I do it, everything that you suggested, and guess what? I don't know what to do during the day. I just have to go around and look at how to tweak the facilities instead of tweaking my employees. And I said, they do the work so well, 90% of my job is not managing anymore. I used to be 100% of my job before.
That's a good thing. That means it gives him time to do more of the creative things, more of the
important things, and especially
other things better.
Exactly.
Rather than
same for the owner. The owner might be very good at marketing.
Right.
Can't market because they're managing. Maybe salespeople can't sell because they're managing.
Yep.
Now, when the crew manages themselves, and that's another part of it. I have one client that was a salesperson, and I taught we instructed and inspired and trained their employees to sell the company themselves. So these employees, they don't go out and sell. That's not their job. That's not their job description. But yet they're going out and bringing in business, bringing in more work. And then our client said, I had to create incentive programs, just like I give my sales reps, because they have to be rewarded for that.
Yeah.
I said, that's what it's all about.
Good.
Everybody's a marketer, everybody's a salesperson. And then you don't have to do that. That's how you scale up.
Nice. That's a great idea. Thank you. I mean, that was awesome.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. It's not easy to run a successful business, and especially if that business is running you,
Yes.
right? So
And
that's kind
that's
of where
the problem we
you're
solve.
best to be helping somebody who's got a business that's running their life rather than them running their business.
You started a business to have a life,
Right.
and to give other people, your employees, a good life too. And if that's not happening, this is something that you can look at to do.
Okay, well, good. And thank you very much for coming. I appreciate it, and I hope that
Thanks for inviting
everybody
us.
here who's out there watching enjoyed this as well and maybe gained a little bit of knowledge. So if you have any questions or thoughts, if you want to learn more about Success Genie LLC, please leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and hit that bell, and we'll get you notified when the next episode of How It's Done comes out. So from the Milford Regional Chamber of Commerce and Success Genie LLC, thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now. Say bye.